The following is a presentation of the ForceCenter podcast feed.
As Obi-Wan Kenobi once said, hello there and welcome to Databank Brawl, the podcast where we learn about Star Wars characters, discuss them, share our little feelings, and then make those characters fight for our amusement and hopefully yours. I'm your host. My name is Joseph Scrimshaw. With me, as always, is plenty of Ken Napzok and a whole lot of whiskey.
Just like the t-shirt says, here to sip one down and fight with you.
Oh man, that sounds great. I like both those things though. The old sipping and fighting.
Sipping and fighting.
On the porch, rocking, sipping, and fighting like they do. Anyway, this is a very special episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is dropping on May 24th. Not technically the opening day of Solo, a Star Wars story, but the day that most humans are going to go see it. Most Star Wars fans are going to go see it Thursday night. So I wanted to do something special.
Let's do it.
Don't like to get the actual characters from the movie fighting until people have actually seen the movie.
Fair.
So I was racking my brain. How can we create a fun fight that really feels like Solo, Han Solo, scummy scoundrels and gamblers and bounty hunters?
Yes.
And I had to go to the wilds of EU.
Oh,
yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
This is one of those very special episodes where we break the actual title of this show. We normally get the characters from the official StarWars.com databank, but every once in a while we have an EU special, and that is what this is. It's an EU special to celebrate Han Solo.
I love it.
Are you ready for our first combatant?
Definitely ready.
All right. Our first combatant. You love him, you hate him, you probably know him. It's Dash Rendar.
Definitely know him. Kind of hate him.
This will be really fascinating to see how people feel about this. So normally I can go to the StarWars.com databank and I get either a short paragraph. Usually if it's a famous character, you get a very short paragraph. If it's a very small character, you get a large paragraph. It talks about their clothing and how they brush their teeth and their mating rituals. Who knows? But in this instance, I had to patch together the story of Dash Rendar from his epic Wikipedia entry. Exceedingly long Wikipedia entry.
It's still going.
It's not going to stop. It's kind of ironic when his name is Dash. I mean, it does not end. The thing I put together is pretty long, but I thought almost all of this was important.
Okay.
So here we go.
I'm going to pay attention.
Dash Rendar was a human male smuggler and freelancer. Tall and lean with red hair, green eyes, and pale skin, Rendar was considered attractive and was popular with both students and teachers alike during his time at the Imperial Academy. The death of his brother changed Rendar, leaving him with a bitter resentment of both the Empire and Black Sun. He lost the clean-cut looks and well-spoken voice, developing a more chiseled, muscular appearance, with the lazy, insolent attitude common among smugglers, in giving those he met the impression of a rugged, streetwise mercenary with a sharp wit. Despite his outward appearance of nonchalance, Rendar was constantly aware of his surroundings, and his hand rarely strayed far from his blaster. Rendar was also a skilled pilot. Rendar was not one to waste his talents fighting for a cause and only took on work if he was well compensated. These traits marked him as a survivor, and he was even prepared to fake his own death to avoid retribution from Black Sun after his involvement in the death of Prince Xizor.
I mean, smart move on Dash's part.
Well, as you can tell from this list, Dash is very, very smart.
Yeah, very smart. He's an all-around good player.
He's really, really good. I kind of had this impression of him, and then when I was reading his Wikipedia entry, that he is Han Solo, but even better. Like, that's just kind of...
Yes.
In his Wikipedia entry, that's what those words are saying, I think.
And that's... you're opening up
I know.
a Pandora's box.
I know.
With me.
I know.
But I love it.
But, you know, Dash Rendar's here, and he can handle anything.
He can.
He once beat up a Pandora's box.
And sold it to Black Sun for more money.
Yeah, and then cried and wrote some poetry about it.
Yeah.
Because he could do that, too.
Yeah.
All right, I know. If they're big fans of Dash Rendar, there are people who grew up with him. I love playing that video game. He's fascinating to me because he was designed as a replacement for Han, right?
Correct.
So there's a little bit of this. Well, he was even more well-educated and connected in higher society, and then he's kind of pretending to be more of a scumbag like Han.
Changes his voice, all that stuff.
Yeah. So normally I ask you to go to Wikipedia for even more information, but we've got a lot. Do you want to do like a physical description of?
What if I was just doing an Andy Kaufman style bit where I read the entire Wikipedia thing? Dash Rendar was a human male smuggler and freelancer. He would bill YouTube outlets for money and not get it for 2 months. Yeah, I'll look at it. Here's his stats.
Okay.
Born on Corellia, like you said. Hey, like Han. He was around 29 at the Battle of Yavin.
Oh, so younger than Han.
Younger. Oh, even better. Human male species, that's what we got there. 1.8 meters. He was dashing and tall. Hair color red, which I got to admit, I didn't fully know. I always saw there was a picture that always reminds me of like Kevin Costner cosplaying as Star Wars, and it's Dash Rendar. It's like a painting. It's the one a lot of people use. It might have been from one of the video game images. So I'd never thought of him as a ginger, as a red-haired lad. Eye color green would make sense. Skin color light. He's Irish.
Yeah, he's Corellian Irish.
Scottish.
Yeah,
Scottish. More Scottish than Irish. Irish. Both.
Yeah.
I'm offending two sets of
Gaelic?
Fun people. Gaelic. Trying to think of the WWE wrestler Sheamus, who is Irish. He was red hair and very light skin. So, so that's the stats.
Yeah. And physically, I mean, he's got he looks like the time he was created in, right?
He does. The 90s?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Padded shoulders. I'm gonna make another wrestling reference, but the famous tag team, the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom, wore shoulder pads down to the ring with spikes on them. Dash looks like he's got the football pads, but instead of spikes, he's got a nice, soft, plush vinyl covering on him.
Yeah, he looks like some bumper cars are going to crash into his shoulders, right?
Exactly.
They're huge.
A little bit of body armor underneath there, it looks. I don't know. Or he's just got a muscle shirt on. I don't know, sure Dash.
Absolutely built up.
Little column A, little column B.
Yeah, absolutely. And he does just have a real classic, rugged, chiseled look, going back even to 80s, I would say.
Yeah.
That just perfect square jaw. All right. How do you feel about Dash Rendar?
Conflicted.
Okay.
At best. I actually like Shadows of the Empire, the game.
Yeah.
I didn't read the novel.
I've never read it either.
Never read it either. But I have the game right now on my Nintendo 64 at home. I wish I could stream it on Twitch. Having tech problems. If anyone out there understands technology, let me know. So I have no problem with this character existing in this kind of Legends capacity. I get it. Like you said, they probably didn't and maybe even couldn't put Han Solo in this game, so they create a facsimile. That's kind of what you did with video games. I understand it. So if you're out there and you're a big Dash Rendar fan, don't take anything I'm saying personally. I'm definitely not trying to insult anyone's tastes in Star Wars. For me, Dash is a poster child for when people look at some of the newer Star Wars stuff or even the prequels and say, EU stuff's better. Some of this EU stuff's great. Dash is not bad.
Yeah.
I just look at it and go, but that's so one-dimensional, fan fiction-y Star Wars, and that's not what we got. Even though some of Lucas's story is just simple, very simple. Brian De Palma would warn him, I'm not invested in any of these characters, they're cardboard. But Lucas improved that by the second cut of New Hope. So I've never fully been behind this character. Fun video game, that's where it stopped for me.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah. So I think we're on the same page, and again, we know that there are Dash fans out there. I will say I'm entertained by him because he feels a little fan fiction-y to me. I understand the desire to do that whole Shadows of the Empire story, and you need a Han figure, and that makes sense. But he reminds me of like the good and the bad of role-playing game characters.
Excellent call, yeah.
Because like part of all of Star Wars, and certainly part of like role-playing is wish fulfillment. What if you could be good at almost everything? What if you could really min-max your skills so that you are the best version of Han Solo possible? And to me, that's like, hey, if you hit those books, that video game at the right time, that's what this character is for you to project yourself, you know?
Right.
That's what, like, movie version of James Bond is like that, too. Impossibly good at a number of things. And that's what is not great to me about Dash Rendar, and also really entertaining. that it seems like if he just came across like a fish, he would know how to cook that perfectly and spice it. And he could also play whatever instrument is around. And he could cheat at cards and make love and shoot things because he can do it all. He's Dash Rendar.
And he doesn't have a YT 1300. He has a YT 2400. It's bigger and better. The Outrider.
The Outrider. Yeah. The Outrider design is cool.
And I'm glad it appears in Special Edition's New Hope, right?
Yeah.
Which is fine. And look, if there's any, a point in time where Dash Rendar re-enters canon, which could very well happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to look at it. I'm sure they'll do it right.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll do it right. But it's so representative of the mid-90s Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do you have Outrider pulled up there? It's because I want to remember what it looks like.
Yeah. Outrider, which is his little ship. It's like, so imagine a smaller version of the Millennium Falcon with no front little claw thingy.
Oh, yeah,
mandibles is the more technical scientific term. Heavily modified YT 2400 light freighter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dash's quote about it, I owe the Outrider the best. She's brought me home when any other ship would have scattered me across space. So it's got like the body of the Falcon that we know. It stops where the mandibles in the front part of the Falcon goes out, it stops.
Okay.
Just the circle of the Falcon with a longer cockpit kind of out on the side.
Okay.
Cool. Almost as if the B-wing before it goes vertical.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, that is awesome. Yeah, the ship's pretty cool. I think there's some stuff in his Wikipedia entry, too, about how he and Han would race the Outrider and the Falcon because they're the two fastest ships in the galaxy.
That would make sense.
Wouldn't it just? All right, now, I'm sure you're wondering, who in the world could possibly stand up to the might of Dash Rendar? Probably not our next combatant. Our next combatant is a personal favorite of mine, and that is Beedo.
Beedo.
Yeah, there's not a lot about Beedo. Here is what Wikipedia has to say about Beedo. Beedo was a Rhodian bounty hunter in the employ of Jabba the Hutt. He was a member of the Tetsu clan and a cousin of Greedo.
Of course he was. All right, so Beedo.
Yeah, so there's a pod racer that's Aldar Beedo.
Yes.
That, you have to have that disambiguation.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh.
So now I had to dig for this, and I'm still not even completely clear what's going on. I think Beedo is just a matter of they just reused Greedo's costume in Return of the Jedi, and we're like,
everything.
Is Greedo still? That's his cousin Beedo, and then you got to remember we're talking the '80s,
yeah,
and this is back in Dukes of Hazzard days. When for those of you younger folks, where the
like season 4 when the cousins,
the stars of the show, like we don't want to do this anymore, and they just replaced them with two identical, basically Dash Rendar versions of the main characters. Like they're Bo and Luke's cousins, right?
Yeah.
So this was the 80s were just a great era for, sure, it's a cousin.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So you really dug deep.
I did.
But I love it because I actually knew this. Like,
oh, yeah?
And I'm not saying that like, ha, ha, ha. I'm just like, it's so funny. The moment I brought up the picture, like, oh, yeah, it's the Rhodian in Jabba's palace. Yes, totally.
It's Beedo,
I remember reading about it, and it was buried deep inside my mind. And it's almost a Star Wars tradition. Beezer Fortuna it's carried it on in Rogue One, but that was very, very intentional. You're right. It almost is like Lucas was like, we just save money. Put that costume to work.
Yeah, just put that back out there. And now it has gotten even more complicated because it's just rewatching A New Hope, and the special edition has two Rhodians who are also wearing Greedo's clothes. So you must have a large family who just all wear the same lime green jacket jumpsuit. Yeah. I was trying to remember where Beedo came from. My knowledge of Beedo, I think, might have been a trading card.
I believe, And there's a behind the scenes because there's a female. You ever seen the famous shot of it would be Beedo and it's the full costume, but the actress Marilyn Turk is standing in like white high heels.
Yes.
That I kind of grew up with.
Okay.
And I think I probably, like Shaq, Shazam, thought that was Greedo.
Oh, yeah.
But then I think you realize the shot later on. I could be wrong, but I believe it was Jabba's palace.
It was her performing as Beedo. All right. Do you, Beedo looks exactly like Greedo, so that's what he looks like, right? Anything else to distinguish Beedo physically?
Nope. Rodian, so it's got the googly eyes, the snout, and the little dealy doppers on the head. And then the orange vest, which is actually, from the behind-the-scenes note here, was reused from a female's rebel personnel on Hoth.
Ooh, okay.
Probably the standby ion control girls or something like that.
Far, right?
Yes, point for you. You win this round. And then the typical Greedo-like jumpsuit, the white arms and the teal kind of off.
Yeah, teal.
Mint, maybe mint?
Mint, let's say mint.
I was going to say mint, like meat. That whiskey's hidden. Yeah. Got some stats.
Oh, good.
Not a lot. Beedo is considered, though, a male Rodian. Like you said, but played by Marilyn Turk, the actress, who did go to numerous fan conventions and signed autographs as Beedo, probably for $35, $45 for a picture. And height is 1.6 meters, so 0.2 meter advantage to Dash Rendar.
All right, that's going to be a doomsday match there.
Yeah.
Is it possible to have feelings about Beedo?
Yes, it is. It is. You're pulling them out for me now, but it is what I love a little bit about being a Star Wars fan in the 80s. We are blessed and cursed with age, right? Advancing years, but it was a different time. Just like we talk about Dash Rendar in the 90s, you have picked a perfect battle here because it is representative Star Wars fans in the mid-'80s coming out of the movies where you didn't have all these visual dictionary guides. Steve Sansweet hadn't written his stuff yet. The playing cards weren't even fully out. So you saw stuff in the movie and you're like, oh, that's a Greedo.
Yeah.
You didn't call it Rodian.
Good God, no.
You know, that's another Greedo. It's there. And I love that time period.
Amazing stuff with Beedo. To me, it was one of those moments of, oh, wow, this galaxy can be even bigger. Mm-hmm. And that I really love that character Greedo, and you made those connections with your characters through the action figures, the few trading cards you have, and then you wanted that character to live on.
Yeah.
So he lives on. The spirit of Greedo lives on through Beedo.
Yeah.
Whoever Beedo is in his heart.
Yeah, it's why in like some of the newer movies you want to see the species of aliens you're familiar with, but also I understand maybe Rian Johnson wanting to put new ones in there because, you know, we don't want Bunkar Plut to be a Cantobite, the second cousin of Unkar Plut. You know, we don't want that.
Yeah. So we'll get to decide a little bit if we think Beedo has the same personality as Greedo, if he has learned from his cousin's mistakes. Yeah. Greedo in our new canon has been made to be just an idiot with a terrible shot, despite his huge eyes. We'll see if Beedo suffers from those same problems. And as you said, it is a little bit of a battle of 80s versus 90s. So with that, let's fight. As always, we're going to start with the where and the when. I don't think we know the death of either of these characters.
No.
So it can be just about any time we want.
As far as we know, Beedo could show up at episode 9. We don't know really how long Rodians live. So off Tatooine. Let's take it off Tatooine right away.
Yeah.
I think it's post Jabba.
Okay.
Beedo's living free and easy.
Okay. You think Beedo didn't come along on the sail barge?
No, it didn't come along. I think it says in the description here, Beedo was fearful of Jabba's wrath until Skywalker, Solo, and Organa killed the Hutt.
Oh.
So that to me shows that, hey, he stayed behind.
Okay.
Volunteered to like watch the place when no one else was here.
He's taking care of that ward outside, that dog.
Yes. So but I just don't think it's Tatooine. I think free from Jabba's kind of clutches in a way, Beedo took off to the galaxy at large and tried to see it all.
Yeah. All right. So do you think maybe he went back to Rhodia? Do you think he was maybe trying to settle down? Maybe make things right? Because we learned in the Clone Wars that, Rhodians aren't all scum and villainy. Yes. They're, stand-up Rhodians in the Senate and whatnot.
Yeah, you're right. And Rhodia, as described by Yoda, is a jungle world. Doomed cities I see. Rhodia, it is. So we got kind of a rainforest industrial planet, the Tyreus system, in the Outer Rim. I like that. We have never been here.
Okay, yeah, a jungle world with doomed cities or doomed?
Doomed, as in domed cities.
Domed. I was going to say, that's pretty dark of Yoda. Like, I'm going to go to Rhodia and I'm going to F that place up. Those cities are doomed.
Before I drove over to the studio today, I was like, I should have a sandwich before I have that Databank whiskey. And doomed cities, it is not. Domed cities of Rhodia.
We'll change it to a whole lot of whiskey and a little bit of cheese just to balance it out. We'll have just a nice culinary podcast here.
Fair enough.
Okay, so poor Beedo. I'm already assuming he's poor. Beedo is heading back to Rhodia after the destruction of Jabba, the destruction of the Empire, you think?
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, it's a new time for the galaxy, and he thinks maybe it's time to change my ways, maybe my credits, my debt to Jabba was blown up.
That's
with
interesting.
his sail barge, and I'm going to try to make something new of myself.
You're setting up Beedo to be a very sympathetic character, which is a great twist, a great plot twist.
It's dangerous.
What a twist.
Now, of course, Dash Rendar must also be heading to Rhodia. Why?
Yes. Here's what I think happened. I think Beedo, upon settling back in Rhodia and starting new, opened up an eatery, a space bar and grill called Greedo's, named for his cousin of, he was very sorry. He and his cousin used to have a lot of fun on Rhodia in their teen years. And Greedo loved to eat. A lot of people know he was a foodie. A space foodie. So he opened up Greedo's.
Mint is very slimming. That's why he...
Mint is slimming. And I think at one point, the first year of business, they say, is the hardest. So Greedo had to take out some loans.
Okay.
And Dash Rendar, well, he's still kind of a little scoundrel. He's been hired, I think, in my mind. You can change this anyway.
I'm liking this.
Hired to go collect the debts from Beedo.
Okay, I like this. And I think Dash is, he's torn, he's conflicted because he's been acting the part of the scumbag and the scoundrel, but he's kind of gotten used to it. He kind of wants to go noble, but he's torn. So he's trying to take jobs where he doesn't think violence is going to be a factor, that he'll just be able to intimidate. And this sounds easy. He's heard of Beedo. Greedo was a low-level bounty hunter, and his cousin Beedo was even lower than the lowly Greedo. He's like, this is fine. I'm just going to go to Rhodia. I'm going to zip there fast in the Outrider. I'm going to scowl at him. I'm going to put on my deepest voice. And Beeto's just going to fold like a house's sabacc cards.
I'm going to press Y and X and A and B buttons all at the same time and get the job done. Yeah.
That's right.
Do you think that after the Galactic Civil War ended, which Dash had some parts to play in that, do you think it was all over and like he showed up and was like on Chandrilla and like everybody's like, hey guys, and like everyone turned to him, they're like, Dash is here. Who invited Dash?
Yeah, like, hey, thanks for getting Han back, but
he just kind of feels like he was left out. He like showed up with his Letterman jacket to the high school reunion, and everyone's like, nah, we're good, man.
We got this, Dash. Yeah. I mean, we're starting a real government, and like you're still doing your cool high school thing. You're still like, smoking death sticks out behind junior high. We don't need that.
I took out Prince Zizor. Who?
Yeah,
we're not even sure who that is.
Kind of low level. Yeah, he's no big. Yeah. So I think Dash he's feeling a little low, right? Yeah. He's trying to find his identity again.
That's exactly it.
So it's late at night. Greedo's has just closed. The last drunken Trandoshan has just stumbled out into the hot night of one of these dome cities. The door flies open. Some eerie light floods in.
Right.
Dash Rendar's huge shoulders cast an impressive shadow across the floor of Greedo's, and he walks in. And the first thing he sees is something he was not expecting. Every table in Greedo's is transparent.
Oh. Like hologrammed? Or
no, you see through.
See through them.
Because Beedo knows that's how his cousin died. If every bar just had see-through tables, no one would get shot in the gut under a table.
That's the greatest databank detail ever. Yeah, and Beedo's kind of behind the bar.
Yeah.
And he just looks up and he sighs and he goes, Rendar?
His little lips bounce
move.
around. Yeah, it's great.
And what he says is, I always knew you'd walk back in here, Rendar.
And Dash understands Rodian.
Yeah.
Of course.
From this point on, we're translating.
He doesn't need a translator. Yeah. And he walks in and he's like, look, Beedo, I don't have a lot of time. You owe a lot of money. I'm here to collect it. So, tell you what, why don't you just give me what you owe, 10,000 dataries, and then a free drink, and I'll be out of your hair. Oh, excuse me, you don't have hair, you have dealy boppers on top of your head.
Let me tell you something, Rendar. I'm turning over a new leaf, but there's a saying there in the Beedo, or not, whatever our family name is, Greedo, what they don't really have a family.
Tetsu clan?
Tetsu clan. There's a saying in the Tetsu clan, Rhodians always pay most of their debts. So, I understand what you're doing. I respect you. I know, I'm happy the Empire's been toppled, and I know you did a part in that.
Yeah.
I'll give you 5,000 credits.
Okay.
And 20% off your first round of drinks.
I don't think you understand. Dash Rendar has many middle names, and one of them is Dash Don't Bargain Rendar.
Look, I listened to my friend Landa, who once said of you, he doesn't want to owe anybody. Doesn't want anybody to owe him. He works for whoever pays the most. I get it. So tell you what. How about I pay you to forget your job, whoever you're working for? I'll beat them, and I'll give you 30% off a drink.
Wait, so
Do you want some apps? I give you some apps. We got a great Rathtar quesadilla. It's top of the line.
is this being filmed? Are you trying to make a fool of Dash Rendar? Because yeah, of course I just want I want the money, but also what is right, and a drink. Dash is having a total moral conflict because part of him wants to be a badass, which means get the money from this little pushover. He doesn't want to be pushed back by a little pushover, but then also, Beedo's playing him because, the cool thing to do would be like, sure, just take his money and run, but then would there be a price on his head?
Beedo just kind of wants him out of his life, right?
Yeah.
And it's a weird thought that Beedo, who is, like you said, not one of the stronger people in the galaxy, is on a lot of levels, not just physically. Definitely viewed even lower than Greedo by many. Is like, not having it, Dash. And Dash, I think, would feel that has to do everything with Han, Luke, and Leia taking all the credit.
Yeah.
So I think Beedo just pulls out a blaster, walks right up to Dash, puts it 3 inches from Dash's chest, fires and misses.
What? Wow.
The blaster bolt, boom, hits the ceiling.
And as this had been happening, I think you're right. Dash is having flashbacks to the places where he has been made to feel shame. He's wrestling with his decision, and then this happens. And then Dash is like, you haven't heard all the legends of me. I wear a magnetic shoulder thing. These things aren't just for fashion. They're repulsors. These are shoulder repulsors, which is why you couldn't fire. And you know what? I'm sick of you making me feel bad. And he punches him in the face. Right in the big eye.
Right in the eye?
Right in the eye.
So it even makes it like swells Beeto's eye.
It swells Beeto's eye, yeah.
Right.
Bang. Right in the old Rhodia face. Rhodian face.
Right in the old Rhodia kisser. Which I have a good authority they kiss with their ears. So Beedo falls back.
Yeah.
And trips. He hits a transparent table.
Oh, no.
Because he kind of misplaced himself. He didn't see it there. And he flips over the table. The table's on the ground. Beeto's on the ground, too. Now he's in kind of a bad position. And Rendar... I don't know if Rendar wants to go for the kill. Rendar doesn't want to kill at all in this fight.
I think that made him feel better. He one punch and he just knocked him out. I think he says, and stay down. And he strides over real cool.
Yeah.
He's got Beedo's got like this very cool, like Star Wars type cash register.
Yeah.
Looks very old and used. And it's got a little hollow picture of Greedo on it. And, and Dash is like, I'll just take the money myself.
Right.
And he hits the button. But since Beedo is closing up, he's already put in his security procedures, which is an electrified cash register, and his red hair just shocks into the air. It is so embarrassing.
Very
One of
comical.
his shoulder things actually starts to twitch and burst, and it falls over a little bit.
Oh, I like that.
You know, it's like when you see somebody wearing a tank top, but it just keeps slipping off the shoulder.
Yeah,
it's real embarrassing.
It's a Jennifer Beal style sweatpant dance number. Yeah, Rendar. So now, and like George Clooney in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Rendar blurts out, "My hair," and is like very concerned because Rendar is very concerned about his look.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people call it a knockoff look and everything. He's very concerned about it.
Oh, it's tousled on purpose.
Yeah.
Every strand of hair is out of place in the right way.
Yeah.
So he is embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I think he's in the cash register doesn't open, and he's so mad he gets angry. He's like, "You think you can electrocute me, Dash Rendar? I'll show you." And he picks the whole cash register up, which electrocutes him again.
Yes.
But he charges through it. He's like, "Yeah!" And he throws the electrocuted, sparking cash register at Beedo. And I think his aim is a little bit better than Beedo's.
It is. It smacks Beedo right in the small of the back.
Oh, just as he's getting up,
Just
right?
as he's getting up. Beedo took his eye off the prize just long enough. And so it smacks him right in the small of the back. He falls back down. And then the worst thing happens. The cash register bounces to the ground and opens up. It hits just the charge. It's not designed for this, clearly.
No.
And all these Republic credits go all over the floor.
Do you think Greedo's is doing good? Do you think it's really like quite a lot of money in there?
I actually think it is. I think on Rhodia, Greedo was thought of as one of the ones who got out and made a name for himself.
Yeah, maybe not a great name, but now he's kind of known famously as, a bit of an anti-hero. Yeah.
Bad press is good press. What are you going to do? So, I think Greedos is doing good. Plus, they have some really cool pool tables in the back.
Yeah. So I think Dash runs over. I don't think he walks. He's not feeling cool yet because he's still jittery.
He's not feeling cool. Okay.
No, he's like, all right. I'm going to take my money and go. And he rips off what's the dangling shoulder thing. Smoking. And he uses it to carry the coins in. He's filling it up. Like, I'm not even going to count. I'm just going to take you for all you have, Beedo. And you tell people. Tell people that's my newest middle name. Dash, take it all, Rendar. You spread the word, because I am good. I did a good job. I helped a lot.
And Beeto's kind of like, I might not be the name you want to go with, but I think all right. But I think Beedo stands up, and he's smarting with that injury. And I think he picks up a transparent chair. I would assume they're transparent chairs.
Yeah, everything's see-through.
And he throws it at Dash, and it misses completely. Beeto's got a problem.
Yeah.
So now I think Dash has collected all the money, and now he feels, I think, Beeto's not learned a lesson. So I think he charges at Beedo, and I think he kicks him right in the stomach.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think he grabs Beedo by the vest and the belt, and he puts him on the bar and throws him down the bar like it's an old Western or an Indiana Jones movie.
Oh, wow.
And Beedo knocks over some drinks, some wines.
Oh, so all the stuff he hasn't cleaned up yet.
Leftover Rathtar quesadillas. Boom, everything. And slides off the end of the bar.
He slides
back onto the ground.
Oh no. Yeah.
The humility.
And I Dash this again, like, for the second time, stay down.
Yeah.
I need this. I need this job to go well. I don't want to do the violence, but I will.
Yeah.
I just want you to stay down. And I think he sees suddenly from behind the bar those long fingers with the suction cup onto the edge of the bar, and Beedo painfully pulls himself up. He's got a big one of his dealy bobbers got cut, and he's bleeding into the eye. One eye, the other eye is puffed up.
Yeah.
He can barely stand straight because of the pain in his back. His mint jumper is just splashed with Rathtar juices and Alderanian wine, and he says that he won't stop. But why? Why is it that Beedo won't stop?
He feels as though the legacy of his family name, the Tetsu clan, the honor of Rhodia itself, is now on his shoulders in this moment. It's another off-worlder who just thinks so lowly of Beedo and Greedo and Wald, right? Is that the other character that Warwick Davis was in Phantom Menace? I think that's right. No points for me. So that's why Beedo doesn't want to give up here at this time.
Okay.
So I think he grabs the first move is he grabs a plate of appetizers, uneaten, unfinished, and he flings it at Dash Rendar.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And it doesn't come anywhere near Dash.
Of course
at
not.
all. At all. But it does hit the wall behind Dash. Mm-hmm. And Dash starts screaming, "Just stop." But it hit a big mounted head of a Tauntaun.
Ooh, yeah.
Because it's kind of a sporty bar.
Yeah.
We've got various beasts' heads mounted.
If you've never had boneless Tauntaun wings, try it.
And the Tauntaun head falls, and you know what? It just straight up, it falls apart and it straight up lands on Dash's head. so he's
somehow the dead head of the Tauntaun still go.
Yes, it's got a chip in it so it can make noise. You know what? It's like the Billy Bass of the Star Wars world. If you get close to it, it doesn't sing, but it makes Tauntaun noises. And that lands on Dash's head.
Yeah.
And I think Beedo says, "That's who I am.
Yeah.
I keep trying, even though I have horrible aim, even though horrible aim is in my very blood, it runs through my blood. I keep shooting, I keep throwing until somehow I hit the spot. You have a Tauntaun head. Ha 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 ha." And he laughs at him.
There's the humiliation in this fight is high.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes we really take our fighters through the muck and mire.
Yeah, but that's the story. These two characters are both fighting for their dignity.
Dignity.
And I think maybe this is a good point to pause as we do in our combat.
Right.
And decide who we think should physically win the combat and any other feelings about moral victories.
I think physically at this point, it's almost even.
Yeah.
Which is realistically possible here. Beeto's used a lot of things to his advantage. Morally, though, I got to tell you, I'm not happy with the direction Rendar took his life in.
No.
He didn't deal with some things right. Beedo tried to do something good. He opened up a bar and grill with some pool tables in the back. And
he went back home and tried to make it good for the community.
It's like a sitcom. Beedo comes home. And I side with Beedo on this one.
Yeah, I think we have to give this to Beedo. And we do go for underdogs, and he is the under-Rhodian as it is. I do think that Dash we got to give it to Dash. He is physically superior.
Oh, yeah, he does his push-ups.
So I think that there is a world in which he wins the combat, but loses everything else.
Yes.
So let's spin that tale.
I think it begins with him yanking off the Tauntaun head, like, well, it's not quite Robb Stark with a wolf's head, but, it's on him. He tosses it aside. I think he grabs his blaster. And he starts firing.
Okay.
I think maybe even hits Beedo. Beeto's not going to fall to the ground, though.
No. He got grazed.
And I think Dash advances on Beedo. And I don't know if this is the point where he takes the final victory in your brain. I don't know where you're thinking.
Yeah. I think that he fires at Beedo. Beedo, because he doesn't want to kill him. Mm-hmm. He's still that. He wings him.
He knows it wouldn't be good for his reputation.
Yeah, he wings him in the shoulder. Beedo keeps throwing things. He wings him in the knee. Beedo keeps throwing things. He closes in, and I think he just starts hammering at him with his fists, with the blaster. I think Beedo successfully grabs one of those Rathar quesadillas and just rubs it in Dash's face to the point where he's blinded.
Oh,
and I think there's just this tornado of limbs. Dash can't see what he's doing, so he's missing. Beeto's missing. It's like the end of a terrible, terrible boxing match where they almost just want to hug, and it's just a mess.
Yeah.
Until Dash finally has a decisive physical move to win.
Yeah. I think the physical move is very simple. I think it's just like a knee to the dealy doppers. Very aggressive move, like an old style UFC move there, MMA move. And I think he knocks Beedo out.
Okay, yeah, I like this. Like he dives to the ground, gets his hand on like the ground, and then drives his knee high up in the air to knee him in the dealy bopper.
That works for me.
Smack.
It's a gruesome sound. Beeto's down. And I think Dash has his money. He has what he thinks the victory. And he doesn't want to kill him. And maybe in his head he's kind of realizing this might be the last job I do, and maybe it's time for me to clean up a little bit. Okay. But that he's earned it. He's kept his word. And maybe the galaxy will recognize that.
Yeah. So do you think he takes a lot of money or just the money he needs?
I think he takes the money he needs. Leave some left because he's not a common thief.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay, so I think he does that. I think he takes just the money he leaves.
Yeah.
I think he does take one free drink.
Absolutely. He felt he was owed that. Yeah.
When he leaves, he gets to the Outrider. Mm-hmm. And he is racked with guilt. Yeah. This experience has made him see like, I could be like Beedo. Yeah. Beedo rejected his criminal ways, and he went back to the life he used to know.
Right.
I could do that. I could let go of my cool voice and my devil-may-care attitude, and I could go back to being this stand-up guy from a good family who was admired by teachers and students alike.
By everyone.
And he starts writing the memoirs of Dash Rendar.
Oh, okay.
He dedicates it to Beedo. So Beedo is the one.
The fight that changed it all.
The fight that changed it.
Yeah.
Changed it all.
Yeah.
He goes, as he's writing this, and I think he decides Robin Hood-like. He's going to pull one last job. Mm-hmm. He is going to pull one on Gracchus the Hutt.
Yep.
Steal some money from Gracchus the Hutt and send it to Beedo to fix up the bar.
Okay.
I think that's
his plan?
Do. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think happens to Beedo?
Beedo is defeated. Beedo is in pain. Beedo has to recover. There's some damages. There's some money. But a funny thing happens. The citizens, the denizens of his city, of Rhodia, these domed cities that are not doomed, Yoda, rally around him. They feel bad.
Yeah.
And I think they find, though, in the security footage of the fight here, they find some really incriminating yet amusing footage. And if you freeze frame it and get like maybe 4 seconds of it and create like a space GIF, they release a video on the HoloNet called Tauntaun Man. And it is Dash Rendar with a tauntaun head for his head, moving around, going, ah. It's very recognizable that it's Dash's outfit. And that goes out in the galaxy. Wow. One last humiliation for Dash Rendar.
And Dash, he really takes a step forward in life, and he becomes Dash, I've made some mistakes, Rendar. And he changes his way. And I think from the popularity of that viral holo of Tauntaun Man, I think they started the Star Wars version of a GoFundMe campaign.
Yes.
And the whole community works together to rebuild Beedo's, except for this time, the entire bar is transparent. Even the walls. So you can never rob. They figure no one can ever rob Greedos again.
Right.
Because it's see-through.
Yeah, because it turns out there was a lot of passerbyers.
Yeah, that could have stopped this if they'd been listening.
Yep.
And that's really, I think, the moral of a lot of our databanks take. That these characters can get to a point where they can see through themselves.
Right. And as our story comes to the close, it really made me realize that this story we came up here today, better than 90% of mid-90s legends.
One Star Wars fan's opinion from Ken Napzok. We have put our characters through some shame, both Beedo and Dash Rendar, but that is nothing special. We put all of the characters through some shame. Thank you, as always, for listening. Thanks for making suggestions. If there are characters that you want to see fight, let us know with the hashtag Databank Brawl. Ken, where can people find you and your adventures?
Yeah, find me at Ken Napzok. That includes Twitch. We're about a week away from the time this episode for the big live movie trivia schmodown, you, me, and Alex Damon Star Wars Explained. So I'll be popping on Twitch to do some training, which I've learned I definitely need more of. A little rusty.
I am very rusty. It would be great if we could just have an anti-Star Wars trivia. It's like, how many things have you forgotten? I don't remember that anymore.
Remember that one.
I'll remember it next time. We always like to thank Tony Thaxton for our great theme music.
Yeah.
You can check out his Patreon. That is at Tony Thaxton. If you just go to Patreon and search for it. We, of course, have a Patreon here at ForceCenter. That's patreon.com/ForceCenter. We have lots of merch at TeePublic, including our Whiskey Jedi. It's not a Tauntaun head, but it is a Jedi with a glass of whiskey for a head. That's at teepublic.com/user/ForceCenter. You can also find episodes of Databank Brawl on YouTube with a few fun graphics added by our own Jennifer Landa. You can also check out my podcast, Obsessed, and live shows and comedy albums. Info on all that is on my website at josephscrimshaw.com. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram as at Joseph Scrimshaw. You can like Force Center on Facebook and follow us on Twitter as at Force Center Pod. And until next time, as Luke Skywalker once said, well, no one was really listening to him, I care. That's it for Databank Brawl.